Want to welcome everyone to our meeting this morning and give it an opportunity. If you're part of an applicant team and you'd like to do a sound check, please raise your hand within Zoom and then we can enable your speaking. Want to just clarify, this is the webinar version of Zoom. So cameras are only enabled for staff, but we can enable speaking permissions for all of our attendees for either participation, public comment, and that kind of thing.
Hi, Kimberly. Good morning. Can you hear me?
I can. You sound
Excellent.
great. Thank you.
Thanks for getting us started. Have you begun the stream or are we going to wait a little closer to, it's almost meeting time. Let's get it started.
Okay, sounds good.
Perfect. Thank you.
Hey, I'm just doing a sound and video check.
Sounds good. Looks good. Thank you, Susie.
Thank you.
Good morning, Recording Secretary Kimberly. Are we ready?
I think we are.
Excellent. Well, hello, everyone. I'm Sherry Mead, Zoning Administrator, and I'd like to call to order the August 4th, 2022 Zoning Administrator Public Meeting at 10:33 a.m. Pursuant to Government Code Section 54953E and the recommendation of the Sonoma County Health Officer, the Zoning Administrator will be facilitating this meeting via Zoom webinar. Members of the public are able to participate virtually at www.zoom.us/join or by calling toll-free 877-853-5257 using meeting ID number 880-9549-2869. And please make sure you jot that number down just in case you have a disruption to your Zoom account and meeting. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but just in case, that way you can call in. Members of the public accessing the meeting through Zoom can provide comments during the public comment periods. Actually, anyone can. Additional information related to meeting participation is available at www.srcity.org/zoning admin. The meeting is also being live streamed at YouTube. You can find it at www.youtube.com/City of Santa Rosa. So the first item on the agenda is to open public comment. And we're going to open this for items that are not listed on today's agenda. This is the time when any person may address matters that are not listed on this agenda, but which are within the purview of the zoning administrator. Public comment will also be accepted after presentation of each of the agenda items. That would be the appropriate time to comment on them. Each speaker is allowed 3 minutes, and our recording secretary, Kimberly, will provide instructions on how to indicate if you would like to make a comment on non-agenda items at this time. Note that each speaker will be given 3 minutes to speak. Recording secretary, Kimberly, can you let people know how to acknowledge, to indicate that they would like to make a public comment at this time?
Yeah, there's a raise hand function within Zoom, and we don't have any phone callers.
Okay.
But as an FYI, if we did, or if anyone was going to participate in that way in the future, you can press *9, and then that lets me know that your sound needs to be enabled as well. Perfect.
Well, item 3 on the agenda is the zoning administrator business, which includes the zoning administrator statement of purpose. The zoning administrator is appointed by the Planning and Economic Development Director and has the responsibility and authority to conduct public meetings and hearings and to take action on applications for minor discretionary projects. A determination or decision by the zoning administrator may be appealed to the Design Review Board, Cultural Heritage Board, Planning Commission, or City Council as applicable to the decision. Next item on the agenda is zoning administrator reports. I don't have any. And then next is consent items, item 4. We do not have any consent items today. So we are going to move on to the scheduled items. We'll move on to the first scheduled item. Item 5.1 is a minor design review for the co-location of dish telecommunications equipment on a commercial building, which will be presented by Senior Planner Christine Tumians. Take it away, Chris.
Thank you, Ms. Mead. Let me share my PowerPoint. So this is a dish wireless co-location, and it's a minor design review at 50 Old Courthouse Square. And the minor design review request includes the co-location of 6 new panel antennas on a privately owned rooftop where existing wireless communication equipment is already located. So they're simply adding 6 new panels to existing equipment. And it's located in the heart of downtown. The zoning is CMU DSA, and the general plan is core mixed use. Here is an aerial showing the views that the applicant has provided for the photo sims. So these are the existing situation on top of the building, where existing antennas exist, and they're showing where the proposed antennas and supporting equipment would be mounted on top of the roof and wouldn't be that readily visible, especially from a pedestrian perspective on the ground. Here's another existing and proposed photo simulation. It's really hard to see the proposed antennas because of the height of the building and where they're set on the rooftop. Here's another existing and proposed photo simulation. Here's a site plan showing the top of the roof and where the equipment would be installed. Here are elevations showing the new equipment on top of the penthouse. It's located behind a parapet, which adds to the camouflage of the antennas. Here's another side elevation of the building from the southwest. So you can see some of the existing equipment and the proposed equipment. There have been no public comments or interest in this project. And as far as CEQA, the proposed project has been reviewed in compliance with CEQA and qualifies for both a Class 1 exemption for existing facilities and a Class 3 exemption for new construction or conversion of small structures. Because that proposed change is not substantially changing the physical dimensions of the tower or the base station. And that's another reason why this only requires minor design review and not a use permit. So that's why it's before you today. And with that, the Planning and Economic Development Department recommends that the zoning administrator by resolution approve a minor design review permit for the property located at 50 Courthouse Square, file number DR22-012. And I'm here if you have any questions. I'm not sure if the applicant's here, but I will check.
Thank you, Senior Planner Tumians. I actually don't have any questions about this project and will be able to approve it based on the way the project is conditioned. I do want to thank the applicant, if she is here and or watching, for her patience in getting this to the zoning administrator. We had some staffing changes and delays, and I just really want to give my appreciation for her patience for this, but I will be approving this project. First, actually, before I do that, I need to open public comment on this project. So I'm going to open public comment on this project to see if anyone has any comments. Kimberly, do we have any indication that somebody would like to speak about this project?
I don't see any raised hands. Just a reminder to our attendees, hopefully you can find little raised hand function within your Zoom meeting if you would like to make a comment. And we can allow a moment or two, but I don't see any at this time.
Let's give them a moment. Okay, well, it doesn't appear that there is anyone on this call related to this project. So I'm going to go ahead and close public comment and restate what I said before, that due to the way this project is conditioned and the fact that it's not going to be readily visible from the pedestrian walkway, these antennas are actually smaller than what appears on the building now. I'm able to approve this project. So thank you, Senior Planner Tumians. Okay, next I should also note that this action is final unless an appeal is filed with the city clerk's office within 10 calendar days of today's decision. So that would be Monday, August 15th, 2022. And next on the agenda, we have item 5.2, which is a minor landmark alteration permit for exterior modifications at 408 Benton Street, which is located within the Ridgeway Preservation District, city file number LMA 22-006. Our presenting planner is Senior Planner and Cultural Heritage Board Staff Liaison, Susie Murray. Thanks, Susie.
I'm just getting my screen up. Hold on one second.
Take your time.
Let's see. Can you see it?
We can. Thank you.
Yay. Okay. Good morning, Madam Zoning Administrator. The first project before you this morning, or my first project before you this morning, is a proposed kitchen remodel actually at 408 Benton Street. The landmark alteration permit is required because there's going to be some changes to the exterior as well, most of them on the backside of the building and on the along the wall where the carport is. The plans include replacing 2 windows, eliminating 1 window entirely, replacing a single French door and window on the backside with double French doors, and then replacing the tar and gravel roof with asphalt shingles. And I want to touch on that for a sec. This is where the zoning code was silent really on how to change roofing materials. So we took this to the Cultural Heritage Board and asked for advice on that. And they were in unanimous support of changing, going from tar and gravel, understanding that tar and gravel likes to, kitties like tar and gravel roofs. And so the asphalt shingle is a solution that is appropriate. The applicant had originally wanted to do a metal roof because of the pitch of the roof, but after looking further, this asphalt shingles is more appropriate for a homeowner preservation district, and the board was certainly much more supportive of that. And after understanding, you know, the proper application, that made a lot of sense. So here are the proposed elevations alongside the existing. I think the top 2, there's no changes proposed. It's the bottom 2, the left and rear. The left, I'm gonna use my pointer here. This is, I've got to orient myself. This is the way it is today. This is what the window here that she'll be removing. And then these windows will be replaced. And then on the rear elevation is where the biggest change is. She's going to be taking out this window and this French door and putting in these doors. And the purpose for this, again, is to accommodate a kitchen remodel. Some of these older homes, the floor plans are just not real conducive to doing food prep and storage and what have you. So she's updating. The house is located, this is a very helpful aerial, no street names. This is Benton, and I believe this is Glen. So for those of you watching, as you can see, it's surrounded by almost entirely single family residential on all sides. The general plan land use designation is low density residential, and the zoning is consistent with R16. It's also within the historic combining district. These are the required findings for, actually they're not required findings, so I'm gonna correct that. They're criteria for decision, because you can't always make them. But in this case, we were able to make them as demonstrated on the draft resolution with the support of the Cultural Heritage Board for the roof that I already discussed. The project is categorically exempt from CEQA, or the California Environmental Quality Act, because it involves minor modifications to an existing structure. And there are no unresolved issues, and I didn't receive any comments from neighbors about this project. So with that, it's recommended by the Planning and Economic Development Department that the zoning administrator approve a minor landmark alteration permit to allow exterior modifications at 408 Benton Street. And that concludes my presentation. I did see that my applicant is on, so if you have any questions or if she would like to say something.
I don't have any questions, but I would like to give an opportunity to the applicant if she would like to say anything. There's absolutely no pressure to. Susie did a great job presenting the project, so much so that I don't have questions, but if you wanted to, you're very welcome. And you can just raise your hand if you would like to.
Okay, Ms. Campbell, I'm going to send you a prompt, and in order to enable your sound, you'll just have to answer that prompt.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. I just want to first thank Susie for all the work on helping me through this, because it has been long process, and my goal is to keep my project historic and keep it in keeping with the neighborhood that I'm in, just with some updates, less cats on my roof, and update the kitchen. So I appreciate you hearing us, and thank you for your work.
Appreciate that. Okay, well, now I'm going to open public comment for this item. If any members of the public on the call would like to give a few words or a comment about this project, please feel free to raise your hand, and our recording secretary, Kimberly, will give you a prompt to be able to give your comment. Okay, I'm going to close public comment. We don't have many people on the call, so I think that if somebody wanted to comment, they know what to do, and they would have done it. So I just want to say that I will be approving this project and appreciate that you guys took that step to going to the Cultural Heritage Board to get that, you know, confirmation on the appropriate roofing change for such a beautiful historic home. And I also appreciate that the French door and windows were selected and designed to be consistent with this home's original architecture. So I want to thank both the applicant, Ms. Campbell, and senior planner, Susie Murray, for taking the time to make sure this was done correctly. And I also want to appreciate your patience too with the slight delay in getting this on the agenda. So I will be approving this project. Please note that this action is final unless an appeal is filed with the city clerk's office within 10 calendar days of today's decision. So that would be Monday, August 15th, 2022. Thank you. So our last item is a minor landmark alteration permit for the replacement of windows at 401 Denton Way, which is also in the Ridgeway Preservation District. City file number LMA 22-004. This project will also be presented by Senior Planner and Cultural Heritage Board Liaison Susie Murray, who had to, that must have been tricky working on both of those similar names and in the same preservation district. So I applaud your being so detail oriented.
I'm going to tell you, you don't know the half of it. I also had 418 Denton Way, which made it.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, Benton Way. I had two Bentons and a Denton.
Oh my goodness.
Anyways, the project here proposed at 401 Denton Way is a window replacement. The project required a landmark alteration permit because they're replacing the windows on the back side and the side that this is a corner house, a corner lot, and they're replacing the windows that are behind the fence with vinyl windows that are designed to match the same design as what is there. The home had entirely original windows. They did do a window replacement for the front or the street facing elevations, and they were approved over the counter because they selected a different type of window where it was visible from the public. So I will show you a site plan, but it's coming up here. They will be, in addition to replacing a lot of windows, they're also removing a door and sealing up the hole in the wall. So here's a site plan side by side with the aerial. The street, gosh, is this? I tried to get it in the same orientation. So the street wraps around here. It wraps around here. The windows that are being replaced are all on the back side and then along the, I want to say the east side, which I believe is correct, but it's the right side of the house if you're looking at it at the front door. This arrow shows where the door is being removed and the wall will be sealed up. And I'd like to point out too that any exterior, as part of this project, any changes, any replacement for any exterior siding or trim materials or anything like that will be done in kind with wood and to match the existing materials. So here we go. Here's the site, and there is the home is on the corner of Denton and Glen. And it's also surrounded, again, with primarily single-family residential. This property is also within an area designated for low-density residential uses on the general plan land use diagram. And it's in the R16 zoning district, which is intended for single-family residential. And it's in the Ridgeway Preservation District. So I would like to talk a little bit about the findings and finding consistent the use of vinyl windows, which is something that we almost never see. And I want to talk about that because the type of windows that they have chosen are windows that can be removed and replaced again with wood windows at any time. And this is a kind of a, I want to say I don't know, I'm at a loss for words, kind of a point that the Cultural Heritage Board has made with other projects. And I'm going to just throw out a couple that I can think of, like putting on a fake dormer on a rooftop. They could remove that dormer at any time and restore the home back to its original condition, which was how the board got around that decision. So applying that same kind of theory to these windows, these vinyl windows, can be removed at any time by a future owner or the current owner and replaced with wood windows that would have been more in keeping with the original materials as what was there. The other thing that I want to point out is that the project was conditioned and the applicant has already started doing this with the replacement windows on the front, in that they are donating the existing windows to someone that can repurpose them. So these beautiful windows can likely go into another home that's being restored somewhere else. So anyways, I mean, I understand people wanting to become more efficient, but I also see the flip side where others are looking forward to restoration, and these windows were in very good condition. So for the most part. So anyways, as demonstrated on the resolution, the criteria for decision were reviewed, and we were able to make some findings. So Secretary, the Secretary of the Interior's findings are the ones that that's usually the challenge. We did have an architect weigh in, stating that since the visibility from the public way is a primary concern with any alteration in a preservation district, it's my opinion that the proposed window replacement and door removal will have no substantive impact on the architectural character of the residence as seen from the public right away. It's a combination of solid fencing, which is 6 feet tall, and heavy foliage, that it makes those side and rear yard elevations virtually invisible from the vehicle or pedestrian traffic on Denton Way or Glen Street. And again, I will point out that we did acknowledge that those windows can be replaced with wood windows and the house restored at any time. So the project was found to be categorically exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act, because it involves only minor modifications to an existing home. There are no unresolved issues. I did receive one comment from a member of the public who was opposed to the replacement of the windows. We hear that, we hear both sides of it, and we hear both sides of that. I think I've addressed that though earlier in my presentation. And with that, it's recommended by the Planning and Economic Development Department that the zoning administrator approve a minor landmark alteration to allow the exterior modifications at 401 Denton Way. And that concludes my presentation. I did see that the applicant is on if she would like to say anything, but that concludes my presentation. I'm also available for questions. Oops, you're on mute.
Thank you. I'm going to give the applicant a chance to raise his or her hand in case they would like to make a comment. Otherwise, I'll open public comment before I do have a couple of questions. So if the applicant would like to make a comment, please make sure that you hit the raise hand function down at the bottom of your Zoom screen. At least that's where I see it. Okay, I'm going to assume that the applicant does not have anything to say, so I'm going to go ahead and open public comment on this item. So if any members of the public would like to say anything, I don't see anyone else on the call, so I don't think they do, but let's give a minute just in case somebody joins last minute and has something they would like to say. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close public comment and get to my questions. So I do, in your experience, Susie, as a planner and as CHB liaison, is it common for the CHB to approve replacement of wood windows with vinyl sash windows?
It is not, but it's not normally proposed either. I've seen it go both ways. I've seen the Cultural Heritage Board deny them in the past. This is years ago, different board. And I don't know how this board would feel, although this is not a project that would normally go to the board. This is windows on the backside that comes to, it's a minor project. It's intended not to go to the board, except on maybe an appeal basis. And I have seen the zoning administrator approve vinyl windows in the past. So that's.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And then would the applicants be willing to use fiberglass clad wood windows across all elevations, or is this too cost prohibitive?
I would actually like to defer to the applicant we have had that discussion. So if she can raise her hand and respond to that, I would like her to. However, if we don't see a hand go up, I will respond. Hand is up.
I've sent a prompt, and if you go ahead and, yep, there you go. That should be good.
Hello. Hi, my name is Thembi Boris. I'm one of the two applicants. Myself and my husband, John Romali, are the applicants at 401 Denton Way, and want to thank Susie for her presentation, and thank you for hearing this today. As far as cost goes, cost did play a large role in the consideration. And the cost difference is about 60%. So it's 60% less to go with vinyl as opposed to go with the fiberglass clad wood, which we're doing on the elevations that can be seen from the street. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, it definitely does. So approving fiberglass clad wood windows where it has not been feasible to use wood replacement windows is consistent with previous actions taken by the zoning administrator, as Susie mentioned. And while I do have reservations about using vinyl sash window inserts for a historic home that is a contributor to a historic district, I'm able to approve this project because the vinyl inserts are proposed for windows not readily visible, as Susie covered very well in her presentation and as the plans show. Additionally, the existing wood window frames, interior and exterior trim, and the blind stop around the perimeter of these windows will be retained. So any future owner or the current owner that may want to, pursue landmark status for this beautiful home could go back to the original wood windows. That makes a huge difference. And I do appreciate that the owner is seeking to improve energy efficiency in a cost-effective way. And as noted by architect Robert Anderson, who provided the historic evaluation, this project does not relocate or reorient the windows or change the overall composition of the elevations, and all the important architectural features of the residence are elevated. So I will approve this project with one condition added if it's acceptable to the applicants. I would like to add that any divided light shall be a true divided light with exterior mounted muntins Is that acceptable?
And can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I went back through, because in preparation for the presentation, Susie and I had this conversation. And I went back through all of the windows, and there is no divided light on on these windows that are under consideration. There is divided light, of course, on the street facing side, which have already been approved under a building permit and will be replaced like for like.
Okay.
And so what I'll say is the ones on the back of the house will also be replaced like for like. There is no divided light.
Okay, I still want to leave that in there just in case you change. I don't think you will, because we're going to approve the project as is, but there's no harm in adding it because it sounds like it at this point is likely not to apply. But other than that, I am happy to approve this project, and please note that this action is final unless an appeal is filed with the city clerk's office within 10 calendar days of today's decision, which is Monday, August 15th, 2022. And with that, unless somebody else has other business, this meeting of the zoning administrator is now adjourned. Thank you to all.